What is up everyone, it is Scott Robertson here. It is August the 8th for today's video, and I was looking at what took place on this day, and I noticed that WCW presented Road Wild 1998, which featured a main event of Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan taking on DDP and famous chat show host from the US, Jay Leno. So it got me thinking about celebrities that have taken into the wrestling fandom, shall we say. I mean, I don't mind it as long as they're a fan of the business. So I stopped watching wrestling 2009, summer 2009, and for a lot of it they were doing the guest host era where they got celebrities in to host Monday Night Raw. There were some that were really good and you could tell they were a fan of wrestling, but there were some that were there just to shill a product or a film that was coming out. You could tell that they were just there to collect a paycheck, and that really irked me. So that's why the product wasn't that great, so I just stepped away from it. But there have been times where a celebrity has gotten in the ring and had a match. Now, this video, I'm going to do what I think is the 10 best celebrity wrestling matches. It can be completely different too, but what I've tried to do with this list is limited to one match for different celebrities. So if they've had multiple matches, I've just picked one to make it a bit more fairer. So you might agree or disagree with some of these video suggestions. So let's begin. These are, I think, are the 10 best celebrity wrestling matches. Number 10, The Miz and Logan Paul versus Rey and Dominic Mysterio from WrestleMania 38. Right, I might be cheating with this one. So, yes, we all know Logan Paul is technically basically a full-time WWE wrestler. But this first matchup, he was just a celebrity, influencer, you name it. And when I saw that he was going to have a match at WrestleMania, I thought, oh God, because he is a fucking prick. But he is annoyingly good. That's how I would describe him. He is annoyingly good. And he showed it in this matchup here against Rey and Dominic Mysterio. His moves were incredibly smooth, but he was working with Rey Mysterio, one of the best to ever do it. But what set him apart for me was his heel mannerisms, the character work of being a heel. Like hitting the Three Amigos and then doing the frog splash while doing those little things. I'm like, he's a perfect heel. It did get spoiled when The Miz turned on him and they tried to play him as a babyface afterwards. That's besides the point. So I did kind of cheat with this one, but because it was his first match, that's why it's on the list, but only at number 10. Number 9, I have Jelly Roll and Randy Orton versus Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre from SummerSlam 2025. The most recent celebrity matchup on this list, and it involves country music star Jelly Roll, who is a massive wrestling fan. And he showed it in the build-up to this matchup. He cut really great promos, basically berated Logan Paul, because the story was that Paul was getting annoyed at celebrities coming into WWE, when in fact he's a bit of a hypocrite, because he is one of them as well. And this matchup is actually a lot of fun. Jelly Roll gets in some offense. He gets the table spot with Logan Paul, which I thought was great. Hit some really good moves. And in the end, you think Jelly Roll and Orton would win, but in the end it was Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre. But what I heard was Jelly Roll actually wanted to lose this match, so big respects. And I actually really enjoyed it. It was actually a lot of fun. Number 8, Dennis Rodman and Hulk Hogan versus Lex Luger and the Giant. WCW Bash at the Beach 1997. This one is, I had to go back and watch because I hadn't seen it. The other Dennis Rodman match you probably thought I was going to put on this list is Rodman and Hogan versus DDP and Karl Malone from Bash at the Beach 1998, which is a very famous matchup. It's not actually that good. So I went with this one instead, which I watched, and it's actually a lot more fun. Yeah, the wrestling isn't great, but the crowd were into it so much, it made me really enjoy it. Rodman's working with three of the bigger stars in WCW. Luger was probably at his most popular at this point. And this is also around the time when Dennis Rodman famously missed a practice for the NBA Finals to go and hang out with Hulk Hogan. I had to include Dennis Rodman here because obviously he's just gone in the Hall of Fame. And he was a big part of wrestling during that era. So this is probably his best match that he ever did. Number 7, Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow from WrestleMania 11. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Lawrence Taylor is the only non-wrestler to ever main event WrestleMania. Oh no, Mr. T. Sorry. In a one-on-one capacity. Lawrence Taylor is the only one to have a one-on-one match main event WrestleMania. And this was it against Bam Bam Bigelow. The match is actually a lot of fun, but you could tell Lawrence was getting gassed. Not that much into this match. Bam Bam is one of those wrestlers who I've watched should be in the Hall of Fame. Bam Bam, I think, was fantastic. He was great in this matchup. He worked with Lawrence really well. And yeah, it is actually a solid match. Was it a main event worthy match? Probably not. But I think because it was 1995, they had to sell some tickets and some pay-per-view rights, so they thought, why not get one of the greatest, well, maybe the greatest NFL defender ever to have a match. That would sell it. But he actually does a really good job. Number 6, Hulk Hogan and Mr. T versus Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff, WrestleMania 1. I couldn't do a list without including the one that started it all. And a reason WrestleMania still exists. Hulk Hogan and B.A. Baracus himself, Mr. T, teaming up to take on Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff in Madison Square Garden, the very first WrestleMania. The match is fine. It's elevated because the crowd are into it. Because they didn't have dirt sheets, they didn't have like spoilers, they didn't have social media at this time. They were just excited at the fact that Hulk Hogan was a big star. Mr. T was in one of the biggest shows of that era at that time, taking on two of the most dastardly heels. Oh, on top of that, Muhammad Ali is the guest enforcer. They have Billy Martin, who was the Yankees GM, doing the ring introductions. Everything was involved. It's Snooker and Bob. It was just entertainment at its very best. In terms of wrestling quality, it's not the best on this list. But for a spectacle, it is one of the best. I couldn't have a best celebrity wrestling matches without including this one. Number 5, Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee from NXT TakeOver 30. Mr. McAfee. If you know, Pat McAfee is now ESPN's big megastar, shall we say, with his show with his friends, but he has been a lifelong wrestling fan. So much so that Triple H brought him into NXT as sort of like a guest analyst, pundit sort of thing, as a way of getting him into the wrestling business. But his first matchup would be with probably his biggest rival and even his opponent's biggest rival in Adam Cole, which all started when Adam Cole was on the Pat McAfee show and literally kicked off after Pat slagged him off, to the point where Adam Cole turned babyface, Pat McAfee turned heel, and they have this matchup. And everyone was a bit worried at what Pat McAfee would be doing in the ring, but you could tell he had been working at it. He does And he shows off how athletic he was for a punter in the NFL by doing a massive swanton bomb to the outside, and also a move that he does at WrestleMania, which everyone was surprised at, but we saw in NXT, where he does a backflip off the top rope, lands on his feet, jumps back up to the top rope, and hits the superplex. Adam Cole would pick up the win against his biggest rival when he was in NXT. I'll let you be the judge of that. But I really enjoyed it, and it's actually a matchup you probably remember the most from that takeover. Number 4, Christopher Daniels and Stephen Amell from All In. Stephen Amell has been widely known to be a massive wrestling fan. He's appeared on The Undertaker's podcast. You've seen him at WrestleMania 32 when Austin comes out. You just see him in the background. He's been at countless wrestling shows. He's a good friend of Cody Rhodes. So when Cody Rhodes, Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega said, we're going to do the biggest independent show ever and we'll sell out this stadium, Meltzer's like, you've no chance, which they did. And that was when All In was born. Stephen Amell decides, I would like to have a match. So he has a match up against Christopher Daniels. And it is so much fun. Yes, Amell has had a match in the WWE when he teamed with Neville to take on Stardust, Cody Rhodes, and King Barrett. This one is so much fun. And it added a different variety to a very, very good show in All In. Like Amell takes a table bump. He loses graciously in defeat, but he puts in a fantastic performance, and it is a lot of fun. Number 3, Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville from WrestleMania 38. This shouldn't have been as good as it was. Sami Zayn was obviously on the run of being a heel, and when he starts feuding with Johnny Knoxville over, I think it's social media, the buzz was there. The feud continued when Knoxville appeared in the Royal Rumble, and it stemmed from there to finish off with this anything goes matchup, which worked perfectly. You had the giant hand. Knoxville was he just looked ridiculous, but it was so funny. And it had one of the biggest reactions of the night when Wee Man appears and body slams Sami Zayn. I've never heard a pop like that in my life. It was goofy, it was silly, it was just an absolute joy. I love this. That's why it's a lot. Wrestling, there wasn't any. It was just entertainment at its very best. Number 2, Floyd Mayweather versus The Big Show from WrestleMania 24. For a long time now, I had this as the best celebrity matchup in wrestling history. You had Floyd Mayweather, arguably one of the best boxers ever, and then the world's largest athlete, The Big Show. And the fact that they switched roles, because they portrayed Mayweather as the babyface, but Floyd Mayweather is an unlikable dick. So they turned Big Show babyface in this matchup, still to the point. Even just before the matchup, they still portrayed Mayweather as the babyface, but it wasn't working because Mayweather was unlikable. And then they made this a no disqualification match, and it is just a lot of fun. Just seeing Floyd getting beaten up by a 7-foot, 500-pound monster. So, yeah, Floyd winning by cheating made a lot of sense. But for me, this was the best celebrity wrestling matchup until this one. Number 1, Damian Priest versus Bad Bunny from Backlash 2023. The biggest star in the world in his home country against the guy that he teamed with at WrestleMania 37 in a street fight, and you get the best matchup involving a celebrity ever. Bad Bunny loves wrestling, and I've heard stories that he moved to Florida to train and live like a wrestler for his tag match with Priest at WrestleMania 37, which is something I couldn't believe. But he just got it. And I always think if you're doing celebrity matches, if you kind of notice the trend with the list, put them in a tag with experienced wrestlers or have sort of hardcore stipulation kind of thing so they can use weapons and do a couple of moves here or there. That's what I noticed when I was doing this list. And this was just, and the hot crowd. And then Bad Bunny has one of the greatest wrestling entrances of all time. Have you noticed that? When you think of wrestling entrances, I bet you some people will say Bad Bunny. But Priest was a very good, vicious heel at this matchup. But all the interference, the pop for Carlito's return was superb. Savio Vega's, I wish he hadn't been shown backstage, so I think it would have been just as good a pop. And Bad Bunny picks up the win. Priest made him look like $1 million, but he already was. And to me, it is the best celebrity match in wrestling history. What do you guys think of this list? Leave your thoughts in the comments section down below. Until next time, Scott Robertson Wrestling, take care.